Let's get into the countdown once again, and with a quarterback that you changed your mind about very slightly.
Slightly. It was a tight one. It's always the tight ones. And here was a 20-19. Okay, 20-19, and full transparency here because I always keep it real. Yes, I originally had Carson Wentz written down. I ended up going, nope, I'm going to move Carson Wentz to 19 and Jimmy Garoppolo 20. I think it's the second time I've done that in my top 40 here so far. So Jimmy Garoppolo is coming in at number 20, and I feel comfortable with that too, just so people know, yes, this is something I thought about through the weekend, right? I've had a lot of time to digest it, and Jimmy Garoppolo, hey, there's plenty to like about his game. Let's just start off right there. First off, one, you hear about my breakdowns, physical ability, read the field, leadership, pocket, all those things. First thing is he has a tangible leadership or effect on the football team. He's loved in the locker room. Players want to play for him. He has the ability to lead the guys in the huddle and make them feel comfortable on a field. I think there is something real to that in his game. As far as his play on the field, very quick release, can really get the ball out of his hand in a hurry. People around him, he's very subtle with kind of arm angle changes. It's not cool like Allen or Mahomes where you just throw a really cool sidearm, but it's kind of like you got to kind of watch it in slow-mo sometimes or rewind it when you're watching film and go, he did kind of drop his arm there to get it through the guard and the tackle hole there and find a guy 10 yards down the middle. He's good at that. He's very good in the pocket. He is. When you really watch him, his sliding and moving in the pocket, he's smooth. He knows the soft spots and where to find them and do it from there. And the other thing I love about his game, too, is he does not need to have his feet in the proper positions a lot of times to make 10 and 12-yard type of throws down the middle of the field, on the edge of the numbers, whatever. Now, that can cause him some problems sometimes, and we'll get into that in a minute. But he does make a number of throws where he moves in the pocket. The feet are kind of cockeyed. Here's Deebo Samuel coming across the field. He drops his arm a little. The feet are in the wrong spot, and he still hits him and throws it in a good spot. And it's accurate, and Deebo Samuel can do things. So that's the part I like about Jimmy Garoppolo for sure that he brings to the team.
You've been very consistent with him.
Yep.
In 2020, he was number 20.
Yep.
Last year, he fell to 21. This year he's back at 20.
That's
crazy.
You've
been very. You kind of see him as the same guy the last 3 years.
I do. I think again, you heard the positives there, and I like that. His ability to read a defense and diagnose things at times seems very. He can have plays where you go, that was quick. He diagnosed that, figured out where he wanted to go with the ball, got the ball out of his hand, and that was really impressive. But yes, again, I don't put a ton of stock into last year's ranking and looking at that. I kind of let the chips fall where they may. And, yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that I feel like he's pretty much this at this point of his career. And the negatives, listen, it's not a big arm. It's not. Power throws are few and far between with Jimmy Garoppolo, and there's a number of plays and yards left on the field all the time, whether it's him not throwing the ball or him not throwing the ball correctly down the field for a power-changing type of play. Another thing that hit me over the weekend when you go back and watch, because I like to watch these guys one more time before I'm going to talk about them, just to go, let me see if something else pops in my brain. A lot of big-time plays and throws that I still sit there and go, well, damn, if he threw the ball in the money, that would have been a 70-yard walk-in touchdown. But instead, the guy stopped and had to wait for the ball, and now people are closing on him. He makes a guy miss, and it's cool. It was a 35-yard gain, but you go, man, if he just threw that and put the ball in the money, the guy's going to walk into the end zone. So there's plays like that are left on the field to be had. And then, Ahmed, I'll throw this in there too. So many of the plays and the great plays that we think of, look at the 49ers, blah, blah, blah. I know I sound like a hater here. I do. But they're f***ing Kyle Shanahan specials. I don't know how much more we can say it. Whoa, this guy goes this way, this guy goes this way, and Shanahan stressed it out to where there's Deebo Samuel wide open, 6 yards over the middle of the field because of what Shanahan did, and all Jimmy Garoppolo has to do is come up and go, where's Deebo? Boom. Oh, I can throw. Look at that. I threw the ball to Deebo Samuel, the best receiver in football, and he made this great play after that. And that, to me, is where a lot of his good comes, and I can't give him total credit for some of that stuff. Yeah. So that, even though it's good, I don't go, wow, maybe like the common fan might when they see those plays or highlights.
This is what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He needs to go find the next team that hires Matt Nagy. He needs to go play for him.
So funny.
And then he needs to go dominate.
Yeah.
And at that point,
then you go.
Then you might say,
right,
all right, he did it.
Right.
But it's tough to argue with that. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is known as an offensive genius for a reason. Let me go to this here, Pete. So 51% of Jimmy's passing yards came after the catch. That is the 6th highest rate in the NFL.
So there you go.
That's a good point. But let me do the counterpoint here.
Let's do it.
2 guys ahead of him on that list, Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And so it's not just the quarterbacks that need to get helped out with the yards after catch. Those are 2 of the elite quarterbacks who also have high yards after catch.
Sure. And it's great. I love this. This is a great conversation, okay? So, yes, there are some things there. Yes, but this is where we get into context matters, brought to you by Chris Simms and Ahmed Fareed, right? So, again, the short throws of the Kansas City, I think we've had this conversation not long ago, actually. Somehow this came up with you and me. Did it not?
Probably.
First off, let's not compare much to Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. The whole offense, the whole league's trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. Their team is formulated around, hey, 15, can you carry us and make magic and throw lasers all over the field? So, yes, he gets some short passes where there's great catch, but why? It's because his arm's so great, and they call plays where, whoa, Tyreek Hill's down the field, McCole Hardman's down the field. Oh, shit, the back came out of the backfield, and he threw to him, and he's one-on-one, and we're all down the field because he can throw 70-yard bombs. So now he's throwing it short, and that works. That's different than Shanahan having to be in the lab for 7 days straight and being like, okay, I finally got a guy wide open over the middle, and all he has to do is throw to that guy, and it'll be open. Or we devise a screen to Deebo Samuel, and I'll call it at the perfect time, and he'll do it. There's a difference there. One, the skill and the thing you're talking about is being set up by the coach. The other, I'd go, it's being set up by the quarterback, and his great talents is leading to that stat. And that would also go kind of into the Aaron Rodgers thing. Now, Rodgers, they're a little bit more of a short passing game and all that, kind of like Jimmy Garoppolo to a degree. But still, some of these short passes and catches happen. Why? Whoa, we're worried about Marquez Valdez-Scantling flying down the middle of the field. Rodgers can throw a 70-yarder off his back foot. We got to worry about that. Or Devontae Adams catching a slant after the catch. Well, shit. I mean, Rodgers threw the ball at 100 miles per hour through a window the size of a keyhole, got it in there, put it right on the money, and it was like not a devise like, oh my God, I've been in the lab 7 weeks in a row to try to figure out this play to get him wide open to make the life easy on the quarterback. It's like, no, we just called a play, and Rodgers was like, oh shit, there's the slant. Zoom! And there's a difference there between that and that. Is that explained well?
Totally.
I got a little intense there.
And to give you numbers to match your context here,
Thank you.
Jimmy's yards per pass attempt were second in the NFL last year, only to Joe Burrow, but his average depth of target was tied for 31st. And so you're not getting those deep passes. You're not getting those air yards intended deep downfield with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
So the question is then, I mean, that's part of the reason why they drafted Trey Lance.
Sure.
Trey Lance can give him some of those downfield passing. That was
Sure.
the hope, at least. You have Jimmy Garoppolo, though, ranked ahead of number 31, Trey Lance. From all indications, Albert Breer reporting it over the weekend again, they're trying to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Shanahan has said most likely they're going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. You have him ahead of Trey Lance. We don't know what Trey Lance could be, but for this year, you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be better. This team is a Super Bowl team, potentially, this year. Should they keep him?
I would not keep him, no. I would not.
We've had this discussion in the past.
I know.
And you've said the same
pretty
thing.
Good, right? I've been saying this
but
for a while.
the fact is, you think he's better this year, and this is a team that we think can win.
I definitely think he's better right now, for sure. I do think Lance has the ability and the talent, and again, I question it still to put it all together, but I think his top end, even as raw as he is right now, he has a chance to surpass a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, like coming down the home stretch. You hope he can get to November and we can go, wait, some of those things he was really lacking in, he got better at. So some of those things we missed from Jimmy G, now we're starting to hit on them a little bit. But he's also done some other things for our offense that have opened it up and made life harder to defend us, even though we might not be as good as some things as we were with Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think that's where they're going to have to balance that conversation a little bit. Lance's skill set is going to open up things in that offense to where Shanahan's not going to have to worry about all the time going, I got to find some way to trick the defense so I can find a guy wide open over the middle. He's just going to go, wait, between our run game, Trey Lance running some balls, oh shit, he can throw the ball 60 yards off his back foot. Some of those things are going to open up the offense, and it won't be so hard for Shanahan to devise things to make it easy for Lance, and let alone just go, you know what? They're actually playing a defense where I don't have to be in the lab all week to figure out to get the ball over to Debo, because they're a little scared of Trey's running or his big arm, to where it's kind of opened that part of the field up for me, right? So does that make sense how I'm explaining that?
Totally.
So it might not be as efficient or as effective early on, but to me has a chance to surpass it, and nonetheless with his skill set and that team with Shanahan, I think it has a chance to even be a more dangerous offense, even though, listen, if by my thing here, we're all in the same offense. We're not all in Shanahan's offense. We're all playing on the same team. It's the same offense.
Yep.
And, yeah, he might not be as good at all the columns as Jimmy Garoppolo is, but as far as fitting the 49ers and his danger as far as how it fits to them, that's where I think Trey Lance has an advantage over Jimmy Garoppolo.
And there's only 11 places, 11 quarterbacks that separate these two. You got Trey Lance at 31. You got Jimmy Garoppolo at 20. We got a couple heat maps on what those quarterbacks did last year that kind of illustrates your point here. Jimmy Garoppolo, if you're listening.
That's amazing. Look at that.
The heat map is over the middle of the field.
Or behind the line of scrimmage in the middle of the field.
Scrimmage. Trey Lance has also got a few behind the line of scrimmage,
yes, he
but
does.
you see more outside
games.
the numbers.
Yeah, but you can see the screen games apart. And, yeah, but you're right. You pointed out. You can see there's more of a concentration with Trey Lance of the ball outside the numbers. One, hey, I think he's got a strong arm and he can do it more. Two, I do think he wasn't quite in the trust tree with Shanahan, so Shanahan was like, I don't know if I really want him throwing some of those 6 or 7 or 8 yard lasers over the middle of the Debo Samuel.
He was throwing high,
He was throwing high. The accuracy was a little off. He was throwing it a little too hard. So those are safer spots too. But that's, to me, hey, this is the point what we're showing here, that if you can get some more red in the middle for Trey Lance and then continue to grow some of the red on the outside, then you start to go, oh, shit, it's hard to pinpoint where they're attacking and what they're doing. And, man, there's a lot of field to cover with this team, even though it might not be, 72% completion percentage. He's probably going to miss a few throws and things like that, Trey Lance. But I still think ultimately it'll be a harder offense to defend because of him and Shanahan and how talented the 49ers are as a team.
And you always got to mention availability, which is an ability.
It's definitely
Jimmy
an ability.
Garoppolo, the offseason shoulder surgery, played hurt at the end of last year. You want to give him credit for that, but it was another year where he had an injury, only played 6 games in 2020, 3 games in 2018, and so that's been an issue, and that's one of the main reasons why they wanted someone else, too. They just got to have a quarterback that's there.
Dependability, and here, here's the last thing I think that kind of hammers home 20. Yeah, I know. They were in the NFC Championship game. He did some good things. I know that. He still makes way too many dumb decisions. Like rookie, first year, early in the second year type of, where you just go, what? Like, you've played too much football to do that. How do you do that? And then there's even some throws like that at times too. I mean, you can go back and watch the last 4 games of the year and see kind of all that, just what I'm talking about. Whether it's dumb interception in the championship game, dumb interception in the divisional game against, Green Bay before the half where they're driving down there and he's running backwards and throws the ball and thinks he's Josh Allen and just throws the ball at 10 yards short, interception. The week before that, I mean, it's wide open Brandon Ayuk. If he hits him, the game's over on a 15-yard out route, and he doesn't even let him touch the ball and have a chance to catch it. The game's over. It's like, hey, that's over. See you next year, Dallas. Instead, what did they do? They punted. Dallas went down and scored, and all of a sudden we were in a nail biter because of that. So, those are the things, again, that I think get lost in context when the year's over, because we go, well, look, he played good. They got to the championship game. Look at some of these stats and all that. And you go, yeah, that's cool. But when you go back and break it down, you go, damn, there was some meat left on the bone. And damn, they should have been better or more dangerous. And I think he's one of the reasons they're not at times.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.